Tell us a bit more about Grandad.
Well, his whole life was surrounded by his garden, which he loved more than anything. But he would make anything. He could do anything, make anything. And years ago when I was little, my brother, I suppose, he made a lovely little wooden wheelbarrow. And everybody in the village loved this wooden wheelbarrow. The result was he made a load to be sold at the village fete.
Oh.
Wheelbarrows. But no, he was inventive. I can't describe him really because, you know, he could do anything. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous. He could even make a tune out of a comb and paper. I know we used to sit on his lap before we went to bed and have a story before we went to bed, like you do. And he said, now what song shall we have tonight? And he used to play it there. And his father was the same, ever so musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never musical. And but as I say, he loved it. He just lived for his garden. But he could make anything, do anything he wanted doing. Ask Mr. Letts, they used to say.
Yeah.
He can do it. And he could too, you know.
So do you think Frank, my granddad, was the same in that way or not?
No, he wasn't musical.
No, I didn't think Grandad was musical.
No, he wasn't musical. And he wasn't, I'm not belittling my Frank, but he wasn't as inventive as my dad was. In all honesty, in these days, he would have gone far. You know, he was a very clever man. But Grandad was like me, just a bit ordinary we were, nothing spectacular. But my dad, he was a very clever man, and so modest, you know. But yeah, taught me to drive.
Yeah. What kind of car did you learn to drive in?
I've got a lovely picture of this great big car. Because it was pre-war one, so you know it was a great big old thing. And I used to get it started for me. And I used to keep it up the garage where the lorries were, because, you know, it was our haulage contractors. And I couldn't get it started, and they used to come out with the steering, they turn it to get it started for me. Then after a little while, my dad bought a bit better one, not quite so big, and quite a, you know, a nice little car. And I didn't want to know anything about wanting to drive. And he come home one day from work, said, there we are, fill that in. I said, what is it? It's a form for a driving licence. They told me you learned to drive. I was only 17, so he said, it's time you learned to drive. So I learned to drive, and he taught me. The worst bit was, you'll know it because it's still there, you know, as you come from Great Houghton and go up out of the top of the village and up onto the Newport Bagnall Road, that sharp hill that goes up, learning to take off on the brow of a hill.
Oh my God.
The ultimate. We had to do that every time we went down. And so we were going down on holiday to Hastings. So he said, well, right, he said, you're going to drive down to Hastings, and if when you come back I think you're good enough, you can put in for your test. I had to drive all through London, because we took Mum and Dad's friend, Irene, with us. She was like an aunt, Mum's real friend, but we always called her Aunt Irene. And she, we used to go up early and get there for breakfast at Peckham they live. And I drove right through London, through Peckham and out the other end. My mum was so proud, she said, people get look at her, she's so young, don't know what possible she can be driving a car. Mum used to sit there. Anyway, I drove all the way down to Hastings. But we had a sad event though. We were going through London, and in the distance I could see this wall of the front garden and a cat sitting on it. And just as I drew level, it jumped off straight into the wheels of the car, and I heard the crunch. Dad said, don't stop, you don't have to stop for cats, only dogs, don't stop, keep going. And there was all trolley buses or trams, I'm not sure which they were, because they got the tram line, so you had to be careful where you was driving when I was driving through London.
Right.
So that was, and I got through. Dad said, yes, you're doing it, put in for your test. And I just had my 18th birthday when I passed.
Wow.
So,
So tell us a bit more about having Auntie Julie and Mum.
well, your mum was born in our house, our new house.
Yeah.
And, of course, Julie was born at the Barrett. And she was a lovely little girl. She wanted no trouble at all. Lovely baby. And then I had Lynn, and I had her at home, and of course I got a nice bedroom for her already. And she was so late coming. She was it 12 days late? That was colossal. And when she eventually did come, I know I told you, just fell out, and the bed fell off the bricks because the bed was too low. The nurse worried she couldn't reach her, and Mum had to come in and help, and Mum said I wouldn't have come down if I'd have known, but she didn't like anything like that. And the granddad had to help as well. It was a whole family affair because she come out big plum, and I remember her saying, "Oh my dear, she's puce." I thought, oh my God, what's the matter with her? She's puce. She meant she was puce coloured. And I thought, I wonder whether she got the matter with her. And I'll tell you what else she got. She's never suffered with it since. She got big breasts. And because she was so late, she'd stayed in me too long, she'd absorbed my hormones.
Yeah.
I said, if it had been a boy, he would have been the same.
Yeah.
And she was puce. And she got like a tight ring round her forehead where her head had been engaged for so long. Of course, no, I wouldn't let that happen.
No.
And no, she was no problem. She just popped out. And do you want the bloodthirsty bit? Because we haven't got any sewer in the village still when our house was built.
Oh.
It was on the cards that it would be started to bring the sewer in 6 months. So they wouldn't let you build till you got the sewer, you see, really. So they carried on. So we had a toilet as it is now. That's why we had a separate toilet, because we didn't want an Elson in the bathroom. And we weren't connected up when Lynn was born, and so the nurse says to Grandad, she gave him all the afterbirth. She said, go dig a hole in the garden and bury it. It's not like that at the Barrett maternity home now. And so we just moved this plum tree, this Victoria plum tree, only a young one, because it was going to be where the house was, so we moved it for the time being up the side there where it is by the pub barns there, and put it there for the time, but it's still there now. And so we buried it there. He said that'll do the plum tree, and plums thrived ever since, that plum tree.
There you go.
And she was born no problems at all. She was no problem.
So what jobs did you and Grandad have when Auntie Julie and Mum were growing up?
Well, Grandad, I had these trouble with my fingers. When Lynn was born, I couldn't move these fingers, and I got no feet. I couldn't lift her up at the finish because I got so I had to. Well, you can see if you look at the scar down there. Oh no, you don't need to show it in the camera. Down there.
Yeah.
And on both wrists. So I had to go into hospital. I was only in there 2 nights. And Grandad come home one day. He said, I've just got myself a new job. I said, new job? What have you got then? He said, I'm going to work here at the hospital. I said, no. He said, yes, I heard about it. So I thought, because he was working for, because he'd had his accident, he couldn't do a lot of, manoeuvring about because his leg was stiff. And So he went to work for Atkins and Shaw's as a, I don't call them carpenter, I call them the other word, anyway, whatever. And he didn't like it there, the men weren't very nice. And so he saw this job and applied for it there and got the job. And the blokes who interviewed him said, "You're just the sort of man I want, the young married man with a family, perfect." And he got the job. Not we could do carpentry.